Sherry Bronson.
Why did you decide to share this publicly? Why? That's huge. This should be a private thing, an embarrassing thing.
Well, it is a private thing. It is an embarrassing thing. When I first found out that my ex-husband was a child predator and was part of an FBI sting operation, and I'm walking into this, sting operation, this search and siege, and the world comes tumbling down around me, I had no intentions of talking about this. I didn't even know how I was going to tell my children about this. So I certainly wasn't going to go talk to the world. In fact, I cocooned for a good 3 months, not leaving my home. It was so publicly put out there. It was a very big story because it was a huge sting operation. 8 men were arrested. And so the decision to take it public really wasn't a conscious decision. It actually came 9 months after the occurrence when a media outlet came to me and wanted to do a story on him, on the pedophile. And it made me angry. And at the first time I felt an emotion that surged up inside of me and said, are you kidding me? You're going to glorify this person and what they've been through. Why don't you talk about, and here I am just, ranting. Why aren't you talking about the people that got hurt, the people surrounding the victims, the people surrounding the predator, the family, the friends, the staff? In this case, he was a dentist, the staff, his patients. And they're like, wow, would you talk to us if we did that story? And then I'm stuck.
Right, exactly.
So I said yes. And what I found in doing that was a strength and a courage that was very therapeutic for me. It was very therapeutic for my children. The reason being the elephant in the room, and I talk about this a little bit about in the book. People think, oh, the elephant in the room, oh, wow, her husband was a predator, or he was all this time while they were married, the secrets. That's not the elephant. The elephant in the room was that no one will talk about it. Was I feeling shame? Absolutely. The humiliation, the grief, the loss, the fear for my children, their emotional well-being. At the time, they were 8 and 10 years old. All those things. And I felt that if we didn't, what if we didn't kick it under the carpet like so many victims of abuse do, or instructed to do?
Exactly.
What if we actually talked about it? What if we actually felt better and it made it a part of our recovery? And in the process, we're actually helping other people.
But Darlene, it's important to me and for the audience to know, because we're curious about the adult relationship and how you and your husband related. Was it loving? Did you have sex?
Sure. What everyone wants to know.
Of course.
I could have written a whole book about that. Actually, it was starting at the dating place. And, as we're dating, the level of just the physicality, and intimacy to me, there are two pieces of intimacy, and it's the physical intimacy and the emotional intimacy. It was always just short, and I don't really know how else to explain that. I felt like we were always just short of what I viewed in my own personal mind and my experiences as normal. But it was never enough for me. I would just, in fact, I address it even in the book. I think one time it was something silly, and Todd hadn't kissed me, and it was like our 4th date, and he went to, in my mind, from chivalrous to this is kind of odd, and I even said, "Are you gay?" to him, and laughingly, I mean, I was kidding, and he said back, joking, "Why would you say that?" And then kind of laughed it off and go, "Of course not. I'm just a gentleman." And there, why would I have asked that in the first place, Sherry, if I didn't have a red flag? That's a strange thing to ask a guy. And so in hindsight, as I'm writing this book, I'm hearing my own red flags going, "Girlfriend, what were you thinking?" When we did get married, there were always intimacy issues. And again, physical intimacy as well as the emotional intimacy. And I think, he wanted to have children very, very quickly. And now I wouldn't have traded that with anything in the world. I adore my kids, the greatest blessing that came out of all of this. But in having children right away, that gave him an excuse to not want to engage in sexual relationships. You're fat, you're no longer attractive. It kind of, eked me out to see the baby be born, and all these excuses to not have a relationship. And a lot of women would go, "Woo, yay," But there, there's a normalcy about that part of your intimacy with your husband, and that was missing.
We talk about, you got spirituality, but what are the practical steps of talking? We're talking forgiveness now.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge word in what you went through. And I understand, just for clarification, this happened, you got divorced, and you find out the FBI at your door. But how did you forgive?
Let me talk to forgiveness at 2 levels. Because there was the forgiveness of Todd. and what he'd done. And forgiveness as a secondary victim, the wife, but more importantly, my children, trying to forgive him for that. And then I realized through the journey, it was a forgiveness of myself as well. And I know that sounds strange because people will say, you didn't do anything. You know what? I perceived that I had let down a community. I'd let down my children. I'd let down the neighborhood's children. I'd let down so many people because I didn't know. I'd been with this man for 10.5 years. I'd slept in the same bed and I didn't know. How crazy is that? So the forgiveness was on different levels. How did I forgive him? You know, it's funny. I remember my deacon at my church calling me the day they found out. And we closed the conversation with, now if we could just bow our heads and pray. So I'm praying with the deacon. And I'm so, you know, I'm emotionally paralyzed and numb. And he says, and now we're going to pray for Todd.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Sherry, here was how my prayer went. I crossed my fingers and I said, okay, God, I don't know what the deacon is saying right now, but I'm pretty sure that I am not praying for Todd right now. And I promise you that I will get to a place where I will pray for him, but I'm not praying for him today. I mean, that is how I felt. And so moving through that forgiveness, I remember doing the exercise was write the letter to the person who's betrayed you that you will never send them. And in it I said, Todd, I am going to forgive you because I have to be the better mom, to be the best woman that I can be, to help our children heal. I cannot forgive you for them. They'll have to do that in their own time as they grow. And then from there, I needed to find forgiveness in myself. I needed to stop beating myself up because I didn't see this. I didn't see this.
Wow.